Balance is as much the mental focus and vision as it is the physical. On the journey, points of balance shift and you must be able to respond and adapt. This line is influenced by your slightest movements and outside forces. It's not easy to maintain balance. It's complex with many variables, and just as these waters in the Indian River Lagoon, no one part is separate, and every move and action has an impact, all being part of a rhythmic whole. Vision, choices, and balance is what stewardship of the Indian River Lagoon is about. The Indian River Lagoon is one of the most diverse estuaries in North America. It is narrow, shallow, poorly flushed by ocean waters, and impacted by a growing human community that has caused multiple stressors that impact the water quality, living resources, and health of the IRL. Today, the IRL ecosystem is not in balance. Located on the east coast of Florida between a string of barrier islands and the mainland, this estuary covers 40% of the coast and has over 4,000 different species of plants and animals that call it home. As water quality declines and natural habitats are altered or destroyed, plants and animals are fighting for life in the Indian River Lagoon. Massive algae blooms have challenged our understanding of the lagoon. A loss of seagrass impacted the quality of life for the whole community. It's heartbreaking for all of us who live, work, and play along the lagoon to see how the quality of water has declined. To understand how we got here, we must confront the brutal truth. Go beyond searching the branches and acknowledge the roots to find the answers. Those roots start with us. How we live, how we change the land, how we dispose of our waste. As a human community, we have become disconnected from nature. We have forgotten that our lives, our economy, our health, and even the food we eat are all connected to the land. To understand how we got here, it's important to understand history. When Europeans began to settle the United States, there were about 200 million acres of wetlands, which is why there were so many diaries full of accounts of endless fish. Today, more than half of our wetlands in our country have been drained or filled. In 1903, the ecological value of the IRL was recognized by President Theodore Roosevelt with a simple executive order to create the nation's first wildlife refuge at Pelican Island, a small 5.5-acre island in the IRL that attracted as many as 10,000 brown pelicans that nested on the island and were nourished by the productive IRL waters and wetlands. Today, over 100 years later, more than a dozen species nest on the eroding Pelican Island with less than 100 nesting pairs of pelicans. That loss is not confined to Pelican Island. Loss and disturbance of natural habitats is a lagoon-wide issue that is linked directly to how we developed our lands and altered our natural watershed. The greatest impacts was to wetlands. Past perceptions of wetlands being useless wastelands is a good example of mismanagement with unintended consequences. Today we now know these wetlands as nature's kidneys, and you can't survive without your kidneys. 20% of U.S. wetlands are in Florida. About 11 million acres of wetlands, more than any of the lower 48 states. In Florida, more than half of our original wetlands have disappeared. The health of our environment is tied to the wetlands. Similar to the function of our kidneys, wetlands filter and remove pollutants. Whether drinking water or swimming and fishing, these wetlands help maintain safe water quality levels. Almost all commercial and sport fish depend on the food produced in these wetlands. The food and habitat provided gives life to one of the most diverse ecosystems. A large portion of the endangered and threatened species are dependent upon these wetlands for their survival as well. When there is a loss of wetlands, the fish and the wildlife vanish with it, impacting not only Floridians' recreation and food, but also industries like commercial fishing and tourism that are vital. Wetlands store water and alleviate flooding following heavy rainfall, provide for water quality enhancement during the intervals when they hold water, contribute to the recharge of the aquifer, prevent shoreline erosion especially along rivers, and function as valuable plant and wildlife habitat. When wetlands are lost, water quality declines, and when water quality declines, we see a loss in other critical habitats like seagrass communities. All parts of a complex IRL ecosystem are linked and interdependent. Historic impacts to wetlands have caused physical, chemical, and biological alterations that overburden the system. The pollutants that reach our open water bodies can further damage the remaining wetlands, reducing the capacity of the system to filter pollutants. To fully understand the health of the IRL, we need to look inland to how we developed land management practices, water and wastewater infrastructure, and agriculture, every aspect of our human population growth. Before European settlers arrived, the Ice Indians of the IRL and neighboring tribes of the Atlantic coast were living off the bounty of the land. Oysters, clams, fish, cocoa plums, palm berries, and sea grapes were thought to have been the mainstay of their diet. The European settlers brought cattle, chickens, pigs, goats, horses, row crops. This influence forever changed the way of life in Florida. Ranching and agriculture became a legacy industry in Florida, and that role continues today. Rather than adapt ranching and farming practices to Florida's wetland habitat, Florida invested in a wetland modification approach that has cost billions of dollars and presented complex water management challenges. The disruption of natural water flow to conveyance channels, ditches, and canals pushes billions of gallons of fresh water along with the nutrients and pollutant loads to our estuaries and ocean waters. This wasteful use of fresh water could be available for agriculture or drinking water. So what are the symptoms of our land use practices over the past century? Stormwater from agricultural lands and urban areas carry nutrients and chemicals into groundwaters, surface waters, and our food web. A large portion of our wetlands have been removed and altered. They have been replaced with man-made controlled engineered systems. The plumbing isn't in sync with nature. Land-based erosion has clouded our coastal waters and crippled our ecosystem. Non-native species are taking advantage of this challenged environment at the expense of our native species. The buildup of chemicals and pollutants over time is starting to become noticeable. The Indian River Lagoon bottlenose dolphins have developed a resistance to human antibiotics. Drugs, chemicals, and pollutants roll through our waterway systems at levels and with consequences we do not fully understand. Humans are also picking up viruses, bacterial infections, biotoxins, and other things that could be potentially life-threatening. It's not just the loads coming into the system today. The accumulation of fine sediment and high nutrient muck is a legacy load that must be addressed if we are to see the restoration of the IRL ecosystem's health. So what can we do as individuals to help restore the Indian River Lagoon's health and ensure our quality of life for future generations? Support responsible use of Amendment 1 funds. Buy the land to restore and protect our waters and wetlands. Support local actions that improve water quality. Support funding for water infrastructure improvements. Support comprehensive ecosystem monitoring, mapping, modeling, and management. Make sure you are knowledgeable and make decisions based on the best available science. There are many more decisions in your daily life you can create change with as well. Never underestimate the power of your decisions and your actions. Proper lawn management. Monitor the amount of water and pesticides and work to cut back or even better, zero-scape your lawn. Smokers, please dispose of your butts properly. Over 1 billion pounds per year of pesticides are used in the US alone. Pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, rodicides are being used at alarming rates. Look into your local schools, parks, and golf courses. Find out about their lawn management, including water and pesticide use. Encourage environmental practices. Wash your car over grass to give the runoff a chance to filter through naturally instead of being carried away in a drain to end up in a body of water. Mulch your yard. Position your gutters to keep water off impervious surfaces and remove impervious surfaces where possible. Remove invasive species, but make sure to do it in an environmentally friendly manner. Some cities like Satellite Beach have programs to help residents take care of removing invasive plants. Urge your community to work on storm retention ponds and keep the native green space, and possibly a community garden. If you live along water, retain natural habitat buffers. Have an inspection done on your pipes, including fuel tanks, sewers, and make sure there's nothing leaking into the groundwater. Work to consume fewer plastic and toxic materials. Recycle and dispose of products properly, and that includes electronics and pharmaceuticals. Some household products we use like toothpaste, shampoos, makeup, hand sanitizers, and sunscreen as well as others include damaging products that don't dissolve and end up in our water causing undue hardship on the marine life and habitat. Electric cars and hybrids are great decisions. However, what's really important for all drivers is their car maintenance. That includes checking for oil, grease, leaking antifreeze, and other auto fluids. They end up on our roadway and highways, and with the next rain into the water system. That same goes for boats. Make sure you repair oil and fuel leaks immediately. Take trash back to the trash can. Use a pump station for sewage. Be responsible on the water. Remember that boat impacts are a top killer of endangered manatees, so please keep responsible boat speeds to prevent wildlife and habitat damage. Get behind various aquatic preservation plans and cleanup projects. Engage with the local community. Join in on some of the oyster mat creating. Get involved on the political stage. There are countless issues to start taking on, from the huge subsidies given to various industries like big sugar business. While most people associate Florida with oranges, Florida might as well in reality be known for sugar. Look into it. Speak up with regards to these dirty businesses, including oil drilling, mining, and fracking in Florida, and the dangers we will all end up facing, not only in regards to our health and our water quality, but what it will lead to and how our economy depends on our environment. Many people don't like to address the elephant in the room, but our diets contribute greatly to the issues our planet faces. With every product you consume, you are deciding to support every practice and process it went through before arriving to you. It's not only water quality issues either. For example, those fighting for animal rights don't need to look further than the animal industry as its single largest killer of animals and animal rights abuse. When it comes to ending world hunger, look no further than the amount of food consumed by the meat and dairy industries, both of which aren't necessary. The truth is, we can obtain all the same nutrients in an environmentally sustainable way. Moving toward a plant-based diet is not only sustainable for the environment, but also for human population growth and animals as well. And that's not even getting into the health benefits. These are just a few reasons it's important to start looking at your diet and what you support. That goes for every dollar spent as well. You create demand and supply is created. Support sustainable agriculture operations and consider the dairy and meat products you consume. By now, I'm sure you've come to realize there is no one thing that has caused these issues we face. We are dealing with an ecosystem death by a million paper cuts. The responsibility and the ability to change lies within the hands of each individual in the community and their daily decisions. Remember that choosing not to decide or act is still making a decision and still leads to an outcome. We block so much of our energy and potential either in the future or the past. The only way we will ever be able to influence the future is by the way we respond to the moment right now. The perfect circumstances, perfect situation, or perfect opportunity that you are waiting on may never come. You must take personal responsibility for your actions today. You create that moment and opportunity. You must be willing to sacrifice a little today for a better tomorrow. Your dream, your vision, your purpose is what you will become. All life has the right to thrive, and our purpose is to help. If we can't help, at least do no harm. Don't be passive to injustice. If you do not act, eventually you will lose the ability to protect yourself and those you love. The journey can be overwhelming at times. You can't let the challenges immobilize you. The path of life is challenging. Balance is hard to achieve. Perseverance is the courage to work through struggles and use your experiences to shape the future. Remember, in life it's not hard to get motivated. The challenge is to sustain motivation. Change requires conscious decisions and willpower. Focus on committing to small, consistent habit changes. With time, you'll build the character that'll create that destiny. Look at every challenge as a step along a slack line. Don't give in. Don't lose focus. Don't be discouraged. Keep moving. Be resilient. Be relentless. Step onto the slack line of life and take the journey. Something slacklining will teach you is about the mindset of being overwhelmed. You will learn in those moments when things are at their limit is when you must take control of your will and find the balance. It is when you must be most alert, aware, and present. not giving in to the loss of control, for it may only be briefly, but if you give into it, it'll be forever. There is no failure unless you give up. Environmental restoration and stewardship is a lifelong commitment. Fixing all these consequences of past mismanagement may seem overwhelming, but the solution starts today. Nature is resilient. If we remove some stressors, nature will heal itself. It's really that simple. It is our responsibility to take action now. Trust that you will not fall or fail. Join us to restore the health of the Indian River Lagoon and planet Earth one step at a time. It's all about balance.